Hi, I'm Ruben with Explorer Electric. Every now and then I do bathrooms, and people always ask me questions about whether or not they should waterproof their shower area or should they put water-resistant drywall in their shower area. And is it okay to tile over a water-resistant drywall in the area? Maybe somebody had a contractor come in and the contractor said it was okay, and they had a couple of questions about it. Or maybe you have drywall installed inside your bathroom, and it's a gypsum based water resistant drywall, and you want to know if that's okay. So let's just get into it. Right, so waterproofing and water resisting gypsum based drywall in a shower area. I'm only going to be focusing on like the shower area because that's kind of the most important part. That's where you're having direct water contact. So that's specifically what the shower area means, right? So if you look at this PowerPoint, it says tiling over gypsum board is allowed by building code in most jurisdictions, right? I'm in NYC right now, right? So I'm in the 5 boroughs, and that's what this is actually applied to. That's what I'm going to be using as a frame of reference. If you see right here, the NYC building code was updated in 2022 in November. So you can actually go to their website, the building code website, or you can just Google it, and it'll take you to the building code, and then you'll just look at the general building code structure, which will be a table of contents, and then it'll have a link, and then it'll take you to the chapter that you want. So in this specific case, it's chapter 25, and then it'll be section 2509, and it addresses and approves tiling of water resistant drywall in the shower area. So that basically means you can definitely use water resistant drywall in the shower area as long as you tile over it. It can't be direct contact with water. You can't put just drywall up and then have a shower area. So obviously you got to have tile over it. Green in color. If you go to any box store, any home store, any store that sells wall partitions and stuff like that and building material, you'll see it'll be green or it'll be purple in color, and that's how you'll be able to identify it. Usually the reason why it's purple or green is just, I guess, for identification, but the way it's constructed is that the veneer, the outer layer of the drywall, is a waxed or oil-based veneer, and that's supposed to repel water. Now, tiling over gypsum base is allowed by building code in most jurisdictions. We just went over that. Tiling over waterproof gypsum is an acceptable practice in most building codes. So even though I'm in NYC within the 5 boroughs, just know that most building codes are pretty much taken from an international building code. I just use NYC because that's where I'm at, and if I have clients, I just like to refer them to a code reference so they can see that I'm not just making things up. So I just want you to understand, once again, there's no such thing as waterproof gypsum drywall or plaster, only moisture resistant, right? It's only moisture it's only moisture resistant. There's no such thing as waterproof unless your panel is like vinyl, or you're using the actual waterproofing system, or your wall is plastic. There's no such thing as a waterproof drywall. All right, so just be aware that that is a bare minimum standard. All right, so waterproofing your shower is highly recommended. Right, so I highly recommend waterproofing your shower. And here's some variables that help you see if maybe that's like the right choice for you. Right, poor ventilation. We just talked about that, right? No windows and no ventilation fans. So if you don't have a fan and no window, and it's a smaller bathroom, and you take frequent showers, then you're gonna have to manage that moisture and that vapor in the air, because it's gonna leak through, right? It's gonna get soaked up by the walls. It's gonna get soaked up by the wood, and at some point, it's gonna lead to mildew and fungus buildup, right? Now, waterproofing a bathroom is extra insurance. Like we said before, it's extra insurance. It's just one level that you don't have to go back and do it again. Like, I'm the kind of person, I'd rather overkill it and do it right, and then like never come back and do it again. And then also too, the manufacturers usually offer a good warranty. So if there is some kind of degradation in a waterproofing system that you purchase, just know that you can always go back to a manufacturer and say, hey, if this was the fault of you and not your installer, then I would like to be recompensated for any damages. And more than likely, you can at least get that alleviated, or get a whole new system installed, right? And then consider waterproofing if your bathroom remodel renovation was done before and up until the late 80s. So I would even say even early 90s, but you want to protect the structure of your home. So if it's an older home, essentially you might want to consider putting in a waterproof system if you want it to last, and it's something that you see some damage already happening, or maybe you had to support some beams under your house. You know, obviously you've got an older home, so maybe if you have those situations going on, you know, when you look at your home, you're like, it creaks a little bit more than it used to. So maybe you might want to be looking into a waterproofing system. When does tiling over gypsum board make sense for you? Well, I have two right here. So you're on a tight budget for a rental unit, you're selling a home, or it's a repair. So if you have a rental unit, you just purchased it, but you just want to turn it over and get some people in there and getting some cash flow coming in, maybe you might want to just start out with tiling it. You know, maybe it just might be an easier option for you, and then maybe you'll come back to it later. Maybe you're on a tight budget, or you know, you're selling your home and you have multiple bathrooms in your home and you want to increase the value of your property, then you can maybe do it for cheap. Or if you have like a repair that needs to be done, you don't need to redo the whole shower. Now the second reason is the shower area doesn't get used often, right? If you're a bathroom person, I mean, if you take baths, you're a bath kind of person, you like to soak, or maybe you just have extra bathrooms at your home and you don't really use them that much or that often, then really ventilation and moisture and vapor buildup really isn't going to be an issue for you. Right, so I just kind of hope that helped. I just really wanted to make a quick video about it because I get questions about it often, and I've been seeing them on the internet a couple of times, but I just kind of wanted to give you a reference for something that you can refer back to and say, okay, I know definitely that this is building code, that I can put tile over a water resistant drywall in my shower area and it'll be okay. The biggest concern will probably be ventilation. So now I did construct a video. This is a bathroom that I had did recently. This was outside the 5 boroughs because there was PVC involved. So just if you see that, just be aware that that was the reason why in NYC in the 5 boroughs you obviously can't use PVC because PVC when burned and it's caustic, it actually releases a poisonous vapor into the air. So if you have a lot of high-rise buildings, you try to get out the building, you don't want a lot of PVC in there because then it's going to be poisonous. But in this particular case, if it's just a single-family standalone home, not really a big deal in my personal opinion. I'm actually going to give you some commentary on some of the water damage that I saw because this bathroom was an older bathroom and it did not have any waterproofing. So just take those two factors into account. All right, so let's get into it. So you can see this back wall had extensive amounts of water damage. We actually had to take out a couple of studs. This is not a load-bearing wall, but you can see the amount of water damage, even to the back wall, which is wood as well. Now this is actually across the bathroom in the near the toilet area. This actual adjacent room is a kitchen. I'm actually going to pause it real quick for you. So this is actually near a kitchen. So the adjacent room is a kitchen. This is the waste pipe that's coming from the kitchen. And you can see there was a connection made inside the wall. When we were doing our demolition, we actually discovered this, and it actually damaged quite a bit of the wood. We actually had to take out wood here, and there was wood on this side as well, completely encapsulating it. And so once we discovered it, we actually had to take some wood back just to address this issue, which we had to put an access door into. Now right here, I actually want to pause this. We actually had to replace this whole base plate. This whole base plate was completely disintegrated by water damage. And you can see the actual cross beam that we actually had to resupport with another beam. And this was actually integral to the structure of the home. So we actually had to resupport that and put in a new bottom plate. Of course, we used PEX here. PEX is a good plumbing idea. Of course, we're not in NYC right now, but this is just a great idea to use PEX. Just because this is compression and it actually gets tighter over time, so it doesn't disintegrate, it doesn't rust. It's just a great option. It's good for all temperature. And here is the waste system pipe as well. That's actually 1.5 inches, and we switched that out to 2 inches. But you can see how extensive the water damage was, even to the side beams as well. We actually did support these as well. We put new new studs up, but I just kind of want you to know what we were up against when you look into a bathroom. Now we're at the portion right now where we're actually at the stage of doing the waterproofing. Per the plumbing code, you're supposed to do a flood test to test the integrity of your shower area. So right there is the black line, and that black line, we're going to fill water up to that black line, and then we're going to let it sit for 24 hours. And if it sits for 24 hours and it's okay, then you've essentially passed the flood test. So that's the Schluter system, which is a waterproofing system. There's the edge of the banding. You can't see it on camera, but the edge of that waterproofing system, that's where that water actually sits. I wanted to test to see to make sure that that waterproofing seal was tight. There's no water bubbles coming up, and that's a good indication that it's probably going to pass, which it did. Now this is like the final product of it. You'll be able to see the valves right here. We put in all new black matte valves. This is actually a porcelain tile that we used. We put in a new drainage system. And then you can also see right here where we actually put in a handheld instead of putting a handheld up near the shower, just so the user, the end user, doesn't have to reach up. We put in a bench as well instead of actually building in like a sitting area for the shower, just because we wanted to keep as much real estate as we could in the shower. We actually did put in support beams here and support beams here, and we doubled up on the beams as well, just so we make sure we hit it. And so it's like, that's solid, right? We did floors, we did the bottom kick plates, new switches. Those switches control the lights and also the ventilation system. And then we were talking about last time about how we had that connection inside the wall. Well, here we actually put in an access door, and we actually bumped this wall out so a plumber would actually be able to get access to this. That's kind of what you want. You want to be able to leave something so the next service person who's able to come in is able to work a little bit easier. So we bumped that wall out so you're able to get your hands in there and get some tools in there and be able to correct any damages, because we saw that it might potentially be another failure point. Right? We added some AC vent, recessed lights. That's the ventilation system controlled by the switches. That's another recessed light. And so there we go. Not too bad. So yeah, I hope that helped out for you, just to kind of give you an idea of how a bathroom and how waterproofing does matter. Or if you have an older home, like that was an older home, you might want to waterproof to protect what you have instead of having to go back and redo it again, right? You want to try to increase the probability of there not being a failure. So I'd rather just go all out with a waterproofing system than make sure everything is A-okay. So, all right, there you go. There you have it.